The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
Good evening, Paul Cooney here with Aiden, McGeady and Kevin Kyle, two Sunderland legends, as well as what Aiden did at Celtic and elsewhere, and what Kevin did at Rangers and Hearts and so many other clubs as well. 0808 17 17 700. So, is it business as usual? Celtic winning last night 1-0. Benjamin Negron getting the goal in the game. Were you there? Give us a call. 0808 17 17 700. Aiden was there. And Rangers, it looks as though a Japanese player will be on his way to Ibrox, subject to a medical. We'll find out very soon. It could be announced today. And that was as clear as day at the weekend. Rangers need some width. I'm going to ask Aiden what he thinks of that. And what about Celtic as well? So you know the number. Aiden, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Paul.
What did you make of the game last night? You took it in, Celtic, Dundee?
Look, I don't think it was too dissimilar from the performances we've seen the tail end of last season. Another game where Celtic get the job done, get the win, get the victory over the line. But a lot of questions still to be answered. I think going forward this season, I think Celtic had majority control of the game. It was good to see obviously the new signing Casper Hogue up front, and I think there's definitely more to come from him. He was unlucky not to score in his debut. But yeah, I think as the season goes on, we'll see different tinkerings of players and personnel in that system. I think because I would have liked to see Duran through the middle, where he's done the majority of his goal scoring pre-season. I think there's definitely more to come from Celtic. It was a albeit Celtic get the job done, but a bit of a dour affair.
Kevin, what did you make of it last night? Because obviously Rangers fans disappointed at the weekend to get a draw. Okay, not a defeat, but a draw at Tannadice, and they were probably hoping that Celtic would slip up, but it didn't look as though they were going to, did it?
No, I think Celtic had majority control of the game. Like Aiden said, it was a bit of a dour affair. That can happen first game of the season, but in Celtic's aspect, because that's been the kind of theme for the past 6 months, maybe 9 months, maybe even a bit longer, it is, no saying worrying, because that's a strong word, first game of the season, but Celtic fans will not be excited by what they saw last night. Obviously excited to see the new signing, the new centre forward. Bit of negativity towards how he performed, but the reality is he's coming to a new team only a week ago. He's got to find his feet. I felt last night watching, he did have a couple of opportunities. Maybe on another day he might have got a hat trick. I mean, he missed a few close range efforts. But
is that rustiness, do you think?
Rustiness.
Can't it be rustiness because he's there 7-8 games into the season.
He's already been playing.
He scored.
Maybe just adapting to his teammates and a wee bit of sharpness and stuff. So listen, I don't doubt for a second he will score goals. He has proven that, and once he gets that first one, he'll go off and running. But Celtic probably just needed to get the 3 points, get them settled into the league. Right, with Rangers slipping up on Friday night, a draw. It's still very early in the season, only one game in, so there's lots still to happen. But both teams, it's very evident, need ammunition. They're needing backup. They're needing more players to build these squads, and I think they're needing quality rather than quantity coming in the door, Paul.
Looks as though Rangers are moving. Well, they have moved. He hasn't signed yet, but Daisuke Yokota from Hanover, a deal worth around $3.5 million almost. What do you make of him? I know you've been doing a bit of homework on him.
I was doing a wee bit of the highlights, really. I scored a few goals and stuff for the previous team. I think it was Ghent. He signed for Ghent. He had a better spell before that, and then he got the move to Ghent, and then he's been on loan a couple of times. So that's interesting. Maybe at Ghent it didn't quite work out, but any Japanese player that's came to the Scottish Premiership, obviously Celtic mainly having a few, have done really, really well. So Rangers will be hoping for the similar kind of it. If they can get him playing like Daisen Miaida or whatever, then he'll be a very good addition. But what it is it's a position that Rangers need. A left-footed winger playing on the right, coming inside. Potentially could be an answer to maybe one of the problems. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on.
1-1 at the weekend. Kevin, what did you make of it with Rangers? Because, there was obviously a lot of hype about it. Derek McInnes knows what the club's about, what he did last season with Hearts, but you could see it was lacking creativity and pace.
Definitely lacking creativity and pace. I think that's as obvious as the spot in the end of my nose. And Lawrence Shankland will get you goals, right? Yeah. But he will only get you goals if you're creating things. If you look at the performance of Lawrence, I don't think he had too many shots, maybe 2-3 at best. I like the look of Asgard, how he's come back. He done well last year. I think a second season, I think he'll really shine.
Confidence from scoring at the World Cup, scored again
Absolutely.
Friday night.
The finish on Friday night was excellent. Dundee United's goal, a bit fortuitous in terms of the ball. Good move and good play leading to the build-up. I think the kid was trying to control the ball. It ended up sneaking in. But the reality is that Rangers, it's the first game of the season with 3 or 4 new signings in the team. It's a shame the boy Ben Godfrey got an injury. Not too sure how serious that is, but
4 weeks maybe.
is it 4 weeks?
Yeah.
So there's a problem straight away because he started. The gaffer obviously liked him to start him in the first game of the season, but Rangers have got this Japanese winger in. No doubt he'll get through in straight away in the next game, and I think that it's just going to take a few games for the teams to kind of settle down. But a point's a point. You know what I mean? You don't win the league in the first game of the season.
No, Kev, you don't. But you know what it's like, Celtic and Rangers. Derek McInnes has come, as a Rangers fan, and it's been his dream job. But you don't get time at Celtic and Rangers. You don't get 10 games to bed in. You don't get, we started well. Or, the league's not won the first day of the season. Of course it's not, but you just do not get that time. And going back to what you're saying there, Kev, about the Japanese winger that's coming in, that was the most evident thing for me on Friday night with Rangers, was the real lack of pace going forward. And I think now you look at the wingers that Rangers have experimented with there. You had Ant-Man, you had
Gisama.
Gisama was playing, but the boy that came on loan last season who went back.
Mikey Moore.
Not Mikey Moore.
Right.
Came on loan from the Club Brugge.
Czerny?
No.
He was one of the exceptions.
Yeah, they want Czerny. Well, Barry spoke about Czerny last night. I mean, why don't they go for him and bring him in?
Because we think
Skov Olsen
just didn't work out.
But that's
We've forgotten him already.
Exactly. I'm saying that's 3-4 players that you put in that position, and not one of them have produced the goods. So hopefully this is one that Rangers need to hit the ground running.
Czerny, could you see him coming? I mean, he could have been $5 million last summer. Barry would have signed him if he was manager. They went Russell Martin. We know the story. Czerny, could you see him being a Rangers player, Kevin?
Well, I think what you find, Paul, is the Rangers fans are very open to having Czerny back. So that straight away is a bonus. Yeah. Whether that's Derek's type of player coming into the club, then that's up to Derek. But they need somebody. They need wingers on both sides of the park, because, like you say, when you're bringing in a 20-goal season striker and you don't have service for him, you've got a problem. Because what will end up happening there is, if you don't get the service to Lawrence and he doesn't start scoring goals, guess who then gets the stick?
Yeah, he gets
then Lawrence Shankland then gets a stick. Or Lawrence Shankland's not working hard enough. Lawrence Shankland's not running about the park too much. But the reality is, as a striker, you're only sometimes as good as the service you get in terms of being a goal scorer. There's different types of strikers that can work hard, they can create things for others. Whereas Lawrence, he's a box striker. He's going to score you 20 goals. Rangers need to get the service to him.
Recruitment department's busy at Ibrox and at Celtic Park as well. Celtic only 2 in. We know that Engels and Johnson will go, just not sure when. Aiden,
so is that a definite then? Johnson's going?
Pretty much so. We said it in the show last week here. Yeah, pretty much he's going to go. Question is, will he be here for the Champions League qualifier, or will he be away before then?
I don't know. That the way that Celtic have done their business this window, it seems to me that they're almost letting players go as soon as they've got the replacement in. But it's almost like within the hour. That's what happened with Maeda and Casper Ho. I think they need to keep him for that, because I don't see any other right backs that are standing out, mate. I've not seen any other rumours of even being linked with another right back. And then who's the second in the pecking order behind Alistair Johnson? It would be Alster and Kobe Donovan.
Kobe Donovan, yeah.
I do think they need a right back, and if he goes, that goes without saying. But when that happens, I'm not sure of. Going by the way Celtic have done their business this window and the previous window, I don't have high hopes for it happening immediately.
Araujo, maybe he could be back up the road from Bournemouth.
Yeah, I heard rumours of that as well. Yeah, he would want. I'd take him back. Yeah.
Is there a possibility if Celtic can qualify for the Champions League that these players decide to stay and give themselves a bit more of a short window until January? No,
don't think so. No, I think it's pretty much.
I doubt.
Yeah, but I see West Ham have come back with a second bid for Arne Engels. It's not enough.
West Ham, Arne Engels can't believe in Celtic to go to West Ham in the Championship.
Well, you both know the Championship.
We were saying this on the show the other night, though. It's you know what players are like. Some are motivated by trophies and calibre and playing in Champions League and things, and others are motivated by money. So if he's getting financially weighed in, it's difficult for a player who knows when he's coming to sign for Celtic. It's a stepping stone in his career anyway, which it ultimately will be.
But Forest would have been a better move for him, wouldn't it? Rather than going to West
definitely.
Ham. West Ham last season, yes, but not in the Championship.
No, I don't think so. I think he's better. He's shown that he's better than than playing at the top end of the Championship, especially going from Celtic. I don't think you leave Celtic to go and sign for a team in the Championship if you're playing every single week for Celtic. That shows a lack of ambition for me and a more onus on being driven by money.
Who can catch Motherwell or St Mirren or St Johnstone or Celtic after the first weekend, a long weekend of football, and it finished last night at full time 1-0 Celtic. Martin O'Neill.
Yeah, it was tough. I didn't think we played particularly well throughout the game, yet amazingly we created some really good chances. Maybe could have scored a number of goals, but overall in terms of play, decisiveness and things like this here, I thought that was lacking from our game. So opening game of the season, getting players back, Trusty just arrived last Monday, things like this. It sounds as if it's an excuse, and maybe it is, but overall we can do much better.
That was him speaking with Luke on Sky afterwards. What about one of the new signings, Casper Hugh?
Well, I think he will score goals for us. Yes, he did. I want him. As I've always wanted centre forwards, just get hold of the ball at times. But he's getting to know his players. He's just arrived at the football club, and he's getting to know. And when he does, when he knows everybody's name, including mine, then he'll be an asset to us. It ran away from him today on a couple of occasions, which I think that super confident, knowing everything about the place, super confident player would put them in the net.
And the key thing, what about transfers in and out?
It would be nice to have both, to tell you the truth. I think it would be really nice, considering that there's been transfer speculation over Arna and Ali. I thought they did fine in the game. I'm into this thing about getting midfield players, attacking midfield players, getting turned with the ball and driving forward with it. But Ali, it never bothered him at all, and that was great. Yeah, he said, "Yeah, I'll play." And it is disconcerting at times when you think that, and then you're worried about injury and all that type of stuff. But I'm hoping that it would be nice if all that transfer speculation went away, which I'm sure it probably won't. It would be nice to go away and nice to get a few more players in, which we're trying to do.
Aiden,
Well done tonight.
what do you make of that? That was Luke with him at the end there.
Yeah, quite measured with his comments, wasn't he? He like we as fans seen the game, the team can play better. When Casper, I keep saying Casper Ho, it's Hugh. Casper Hugh.
It's Hugh, but whatever. Big
look,
Casper.
I think he's right there. Like I've heard that phrase so many times from him. I want my strikers to hold the ball. That resonates in my mind. That was one of his favourites. Going for the last 20 years. Any striker, I want you just to hold the ball and score goals. That's pretty much all he wants from his strikers. But like I said there, I think he will score goals. Kevin said there about his chances. I actually think he was quite unlucky. Mm-hmm. He's quite unlucky because he was in the right place. He just kind of the two chances, the ball was slightly behind him. But the thing that kind of not worries me, but concerns me slightly, is that I think the one chance he had, he was 1-on-1 with the defender, going through and goal, and he just kind of shot and he dragged it wide. But I was kind of looking for him to go and get half a yard and get a shot away. He looks to me like he's a penalty box striker, a bit of a poacher, which is fine, but it's a lot of money for someone that's their game. When you consider the kind of work that McGeady done for the team, and you're losing that and the goals that he scored last season. But no, I've high hopes for him that it'll come good, because fantastic record at Bodo Glimt, and scored a lot of goals in the Champions League last season against a lot of big teams.
See, he was saying he needs to get used to the grass, Kevin, because it's the artificial surface up there at Bodo Glimt.
He said that?
I said it, yeah.
Did he?
Last night, apparently.
I suppose that argument works the other way. When you're playing on grass regularly and you then go to an AstroTurf, you have to adapt to the surface. Sometimes in the summertime when the AstroTurfs are dry, the ball takes a different type of bounce, and in the wintertime when it's wet, it does skid off the surface a lot further. So there might be an element of that, but like Aiden said,
come on, Kev, we're footballers, man. Football's football.
I'm trying to get an argument.
It's a ball with a bag of air.
I'm trying to get an argument here. I don't even agree with, because I'm like you. Whatever surface it is, you just have to deal with it. It's like we always in kids football we talk about, the part's too bobbly, what have you. Well, that's how you learn your touch. That's how you have to adapt. But for me, the three chances that he did miss last night, they were within 6 yards out. So that would indicate Aiden's argument of that he's a penalty box striker.
And that's what he is.
That's what he is. And like Aiden says, if Celtic's playing this slow build-up possession, somebody like him then becomes very easy to mark. And how do you create opportunities? Duran looked a bit lost out in the wing, whereas like Aiden said, he's been positive through the middle. So maybe Celtic have to adapt in the style that they play. That can they accommodate the both of them so that Duran can make these runs that then allows opportunities
Yeah,
for.
we've seen that the other night.
Aye,
Yeah,
so
well.
it's Martin's got not a headache, because it's not a headache. Martin's got a problem that he needs to solve.
See what you're saying there. We're talking about him being like he's a poacher, he's an in the box striker. You need service from wide areas, but Celtic don't get that at the minute.
No.
So, I mean, the goal yesterday comes from a deep cross from Kieran Tierney and Negri making a late run in. It's not a winger getting to the byline and standing a cross up. It's not that. And Duran wasn't doing it either. He needs service. Very, very similar to what we're saying. We're speaking a little bit Rangers.
But
Celtic need wingers.
Is
Celtic
that
need wingers, yeah.
Is that because of how slow they play?
Moving
Moving the ball
I
quicker,
think
and they
they're quite
get
slow.
wingers down the wing a lot better into better positions.
And a lack of wingers going to actually commit defenders as well and get crosses in.
So Celtic fans, what are you looking for? A winger or a couple of wingers? Come back to you in a second or two. That Martin O'Neill spoke about the second half, and he does refer to the pace. It was just a bit too slow.
A bit more intensity to a game. I thought there was. Obviously, we have to try and win. And just at the moment when you're thinking about making changes, we score the goal. And listen, I'm delighted. The purpose of the game is to win the football matches, but we can do much better. Well, I think we can play more quickly. I think when it's on to play it, then just don't wait around. Don't play it backwards. I had a joke with Carter Vickers. I said he played more balls back to my goalkeeper. He said then playing forward. He did fine. Trust he did fine. We did okay. And as I said to you, and without playing particularly well,
They did okay.
They did fine. That's the underlying, bit of negativity there, which is, where he says, I'm only serious.
How do you react to that? What were you like when Gordon Strachan said that to you?
That's slightly different to when Martin O'Neill said it. But, no, Martin's got away with words, doesn't he? And that's his humour. He's got a bit of satire. He's very, very good at managing people, isn't he? And he's very good at managing his players, and as proven by taking over the team twice last season, doing the double. But he's right in what he says. Like, Celtic did lack intensity. They lacked too much. Like he's talking about players playing the ball backwards, but there was a lot of sideways passes as well. When players did have the chance to pass forward, I've seen Engels do it a few times, but when Celtic are playing at home, you need that. They didn't have enough of that last night.
For Engels and Johnson, I guess it must be difficult. If you know you're probably leaving, then it must be tough. But it was the right thing that they played, Kevin.
Oh, definitely, because they're under Celtic's orders at this minute in time. They're Celtic signed players, and they'll have to do what's best for the club up until somebody says otherwise. I don't doubt for a second that the mentality and the professionalism of like Alistair Johnson, Arne Engels wouldn't want to play, because they'll want to keep their fitness. So if they do get the move, they'll go in straight into the teams that they're hoping to go to. If one's Everton, one's the West Ham. I'm just really struggling with the Arne Engels one. The fact that I think he has a lot to offer, and that's probably what Nottingham Forest saw last year with possibly a £20-25 million bid. But what I don't see the West Ham move being a positive move, because although West Ham have come down, are probably one of the favourites to go straight back up. With the new introduction to the playoff system and stuff in the Championship, going back up's not guaranteed. And West Ham haven't exactly. They've obviously, with Jared Bowen, they've just offered him a new contract and he's agreed to that. So they're obviously looking to go straight back up. But the Championship, Aiden, you've been in it as much as I've been in it, it's so difficult. And
Is it relentless?
Oh, it is relentless.
The travel.
Tuesday. Tuesday. Some like, how
You
often
hardly
do you
train,
actually
do you?
train?
Yeah,
You
you
hardly
hardly
ever train.
And you're on the bus all the time? Are coaches, or is there a bit of flying?
It depends on the funds at your football club, but sometimes you'd be flying for games, charter plane, and then when I was at Sunderland, we get relegated, that kind of stopped. So
oh dear.
yes, we were buses, but
So you're gutted getting relegated, then you find out you're on the coach.
I take 50% pay cut with it as well.
dear.
So double done.
How tough was that in $100,000 a week?
Wasn't it Sunderland? Don't worry about that. Certainly not even close to that.
No,
but
indeed.
no, it's
Yeah,
relentless, and it's very, very difficult. I think Arne Engels played a lot of games last season, but the tempo of the games are different up here, and then obviously you're going to a European game, and then it's back to a game in Scotland, and then maybe it's a cup game. Whereas the Championship is Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's all these Championship clubs are all spending big as well. It's a very, very, very difficult league.
Cal McGregor, captain again. How many seasons is that now? Is this his?
As captain,
But even
say 7, no?
about 7, isn't it? Is it 12 years at the club or more? It is phenomenal. He spoke afterwards. What about the new players who we saw last night for the first time?
Yeah, really good. Always tough. First game, big expectation. Thought his doing were excellent. Coupled with the guys that came back in, really, really strong. So we just keep moving, keep every day motoring, and fine tune what it is we need to do.
And his take on the game?
Yeah, much better second half. A wee bit sort of slow to get going in the first half, but that's understandable. First game, a few boys like it's 5 or 6 in the team were just playing their first game, no pre-season, so takes a wee while to get up to speed. But I thought second half was really good. Put some really good moves together, and probably just 1 or 2 little passes or movements away from maybe going 2 or 3 on the night. So I think overall positive start, points on the board, and we just refine and just keep going.
Quite a few calls coming in. We'll go on the line shortly. Joe is in the van listening in and enjoying the show as well. Max is there as well at work, so they're listening somewhere here in the west of Scotland. You could be on next. 0808 17 17 700. What about the new Rangers signing, which looks to be in the pipeline, with Daisuke Yokota coming from Hanover, subject to the medical? And Celtic fans, what you're looking at in the next few weeks before the game, with Lask will run the rule on them. And what about the others? What about Motherwell? Great start to the season under new management. 0808 17 17 700.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas.
A few calls coming in, Celtic fans saying, look, business as usual. I saw there was a Paddy Power. I know it was a fake, but it was saying we've seen enough. This was after the Hearts result. Did you see it, Kevin? We're paying out already. Obviously, Rangers drawing, but Hearts, I mean, your old team, I know you've got a great affection for them as well, but a goal up, 90 minutes gone, and then they lose 2-1.
It was poor.
Yeah.
It was poor. It happens. I kind of worry for Hearts, Paul. They're obviously not going to be the force they were last season. They've lost their manager, they've lost two of their most important players. Got a new manager in, a few new signings. It may just be a case of they're going to need time to bed in.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look down the road at Motherwell, who've got a new manager in, they've just adopted the same style of play, added a few players that have just continued on the way they're playing. So it's interesting to see how different the new managers come in and how they adapt quickly or not quickly.
What did you make of the decision to see Hearts have told their supporters they share their the worry about the Stuart Finlay decision? Should he have gone off? Or Lasagna brought him down in the box?
I think it's harsh. I think it's harsh. I don't think he's
kind in the
deliberately.
rules, though.
But a lot of decisions in football nowadays we can all disagree on, but it's that when we go and break down the rules and read the rule, see what's happened, the rule kind of dictates. But I know
Did they not change it a while back to double jeopardy?
double jeopardy, but is it double jeopardy? You can't have a penalty and a red card, but there's a tweak to that.
What's the tweak?
Which I'm not too sure it is.
Somebody that was a penalty and a red card.
Somebody will be able to let us know there is a.
Yeah, Aiden, do you feel it was fair, the decision?
I think it's fair. I think it's fair. I mean, as in the rules, and if you're the last man, you're stopping a goal scoring opportunity, then you get sent off. That's just the way it is.
See, Billy Dodds as well could be in trouble. I saw him, having a go at the referee after the game, and they're saying that he could be in trouble for speaking with the referee, John Beaton, at the end of the game. Kelly fans, you'll be disappointed. I mean, what a match, 4-3. But I thought Neil was really honest afterwards, Kevin, when he said, another year old Cubs, of course, Kilmarnock, 3-2 up, and we couldn't hold on, and we probably didn't deserve to.
No, I watched the game. I actually watched the first half of the game, and I thought St Johnstone were quite dominant throughout the game. I think the goals that Kilmarnock scored were errors on the goals that St Johnstone scored were errors on Kilmarnock's part and could easily have been avoided. And some of the goals for St Johnstone for the same in Kilmarnock's part. Yeah. But Kilmarnock, I kind of worried for Kilmarnock. I didn't think they started the game well, and I think they got what they deserved. I think when they were 3-2 up, they could have found themselves being very, very fortunate, and probably most of the fans and Neil McCann and Billy Dodds were sitting there thinking, how have we got to 3-2 up? But again, they couldn't hold on and got a couple of breaks of the ball, and St Johnstone managed to get the win. I'm interested to see how St Johnstone do coming up from the Championship with the new manager Val McGeady, because we didn't see a lot of how his style and how he didn't be in the Championship last year, so it'd be interesting to see. But
I've seen a lot of them last season. Last season, the Championship, they were the best team by a mile. They were the best team. I know Partick Thistle ran them close, but they were the best team by a mile, and carried on kind of, when he came in. First of all, in the SPFL, they were going down, but they had a really, really good style of football. Right. He's carried that on, and it looks to be the same this season. He's tinkered with it slightly, but hopefully he's a bit more pragmatic this season. But it looks to be the same philosophy and the same style of football. What a
first 10 days for Motherwell, winning in Europe, home and away, and then winning away at Easter Road. On the line is a massive Motherwell fan, Hugh, great Scotland fan as well. Hugh, good evening. Hello, Hugh. He was there a second or two ago. He's Motherwell mad, and he always makes some good points. The new manager's in. What a start he's had.
Yeah. Oh, outstanding. Yeah. Because the shoes he's had to fill coming in there, Paul, from Better ask you what he done. Big shoes to fill, but he's come in and got off to the start that he would have hoped for. But I'm pretty sure, looking at the way Motherwell played, he's only lost, would they lose 2 or 3 players out of that main kind of stay from last season? So.
But big players.
But I also lost. But also, you've lost the manager. But he's set in place and put that style. Put the corner blocks in place of that style. Whereas at Hearts, you lose the manager, and you kind of lose everything, don't you?
Aye, because they've changed.
Yeah, you lose everything.
Style. So, but no, listen, Motherwell for me, I was unsure how they would start the season because of the manager leaving, but I think they'll be the one that will probably run Celtic and Rangers close again.
Do you think so? Yeah,
possibly because. What I saw of Aberdeen, I think that was kind of smash and grab with Hearts. Hearts didn't excite me. Hibs, it took Hibs to go a goal down to actually get going in the game. And then once they got going in the game, I felt they had chances maybe to get in front. They didn't get in front and then got punished with Motherwell on the counter-attack. Got dispossessed in the midfield, and 2 or 3 passes later, the boy Lowry, nice to see him back playing in Scotland.
But even for me, the Hibs, I know David Gray's very, very keen on a 3-5-2. He's very keen on 5 at the back. But you're supposed to be compact. You're supposed to have strength in numbers. It looked very, very easy for me, for Motherwell, to be able to just pass through them. And the gaps between every single player in that back line, they were huge. I think the first goal, I was look at the space between the left wing back and the left centre back. So Hibs have got to do something this season, because I think there's a bit of pressure on David Gray this season.
There'll be pressure on David Gray because of everybody else that's changed manager has got a little bit of success.
A
wee bit of a bounce. So Hibs probably feel that they are kind of stuck in a routine of it's not really happening. Some weeks we win, some weeks we don't. And listen, I'd love David Gray and Liam Craig to get a lot of success up there at Hibs, but they are under pressure. There's no ifs or buts about it.
Especially what Hearts did last season.
When you're looking across at the city, you're seeing Hearts challenging for the league title, and you're competing for 5th, 4th, 5th.
Sure. We'll hear from Hugh shortly. We're just the line has gone a bit funny. Hugh, we'll hopefully speak to you in a moment or two. You will hear from your manager as well. That might be the problem. What about Rangers then at the weekend? The big kick-off Friday night. Seems a while ago now. Huge audience, I think, on Sky. There's a great, because people down south, there's obviously a couple of weeks before the Premier League starts. So all eyes were on the game. Derek McInnes afterwards, 1-1. What was his take on it?
Disappointed with a lot of aspects of it. I felt we wasted the first half, to be honest. I thought big Ryan's header, the keeper makes a good save, a couple of things flashing across their box, but I thought we had to defend more than we needed to. I thought you got to credit their front three in terms of trying to penetrate. They kept trying to run gaps, but we just looked a wee bit slow to react a lot of the time. I think that's fair to say. We had to deal with a lot of traffic in our box, mostly throw-ins and mostly set plays, because they were forcing us back and getting a bit of territory, which sometimes culminates in corners and free kicks, so we've got to go and try and deal with that. And disappointed with the goal we lose. I just think it was unnecessary, without pointing fingers at anybody. Second half, we got ourselves in a bit of position. We've got to dig ourselves out at half time. I think the changes helped us, but I thought the approach to the team was far better, and we kind of just a wee reminder to them what we were trying to do in the game. And I thought we were far better. I thought the equaliser was coming before it did do. There's no real surprise when Tell catches it the way he does, because he's such a great technician, and he caught it brilliantly. And I thought the desire to get the equaliser was clear. And I felt for 5 minutes or so after that it was still clear to go and get the winner, but I thought the desire to get the winning goal wasn't quite the same as getting the desire to get the equaliser. And I'm disappointed that we never kept the shoulder to the wheel. And it wasn't through a lack of effort. I need to stress that, because I thought we looked fit enough and I thought we looked determined enough. It was just little basic mistakes, littered with mistakes and silly decision making. It gives them encouragement, it takes you further back, and everything all of a sudden starts to look a wee bit more difficult than it was. So we clearly need to improve on a lot of things. The squad will improve as we go along through this month, and the squad will look far stronger when we come out this window with some new signings. And I do think we'll be better for having had that game. Obviously, I'm still learning a bit about the players as well, and we're all kind of learning on the job. But we want to make sure while we're learning and wanting to improve that we're picking up 3 points when we can.
We'll get the reaction from Aiden and Kevin in a moment or two. Hugh is on the line now, the Motherwell fan. Hi, Hugh. Oh, Lanark's not that far away. Hugh, I think it's not going to happen, is it?
He's on dial-up, isn't
That's something there.
Yeah,
something there, but
yeah, Hugh, I don't know what's happened there. We might try on something else, but it's just not happening. What about Derek McInnes? You could hear he's exasperated there. What happened, Kevin? So they get to 1-1, and he thought they would kick on, and for 5 minutes, it sounded as though he thought they would, but then something was missing.
It's hard to put a finger on it. I think what I listened to there, he said about they're definitely fit enough. I don't know if Aiden would agree with me. There's 2 types of fitness. There's being fit, and then there's being match fit, stroke sharpness. How many pre-season games have Rangers had where everybody's got a full 90 minutes with a 3-4?
Hello.
Oh, here's Hugh. Hello, Hugh.
Hello.
Right, Hugh, any more of that?
Hugh, is that definitely you?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now, Paul?
I can hear you now, Hugh.
You've sent someone in the back, get a phone in.
Exactly. Hugh, Motherwell, what are you thinking?
Great start to the season, especially what
Yeah.
you were saying there about the 2 European games. Good performances, clean sheets, and again against Hibs. Hibs were always a tougher test than what Terscheven was. But it's still good to see how we're trying to control the game, control the passing, especially when we got the penalty. You've seen the pass there, and the second goal, you've seen just the one touch all the way through and the clean finish. Alfred's changed a couple of things, new manager, and you can see it. They're working on it. So with the players that we've still got to come back, I'm really again looking forward to this season and how we're going to progress. Hopefully a few more players to come in. Because I'm hearing Masvanisi and Longalo is getting sold. So we will definitely need in there. And hopefully we can get Big Golfson back and another striker to help out up front.
Yeah, Masmanisi's been on the bench. I wondered what was happening with him. Spoken about him for a long time. Last season, Celtic, Rangers at some point as well. Longalo, his name came up last night with Barry Ferguson, so he spotted him as well.
I like Masmanisi as a player. If I'm the Celtic manager in January, I'd have went for, proven in the league, scored a lot of goals, and but for some reason, Celtic and Rangers have this kind of this. I wouldn't say it's snobbery, but sometimes it's almost like we want to go and try and get a more
Snobbery,
Aiden. Potentially, but like a more exotic name, from a foreign league or a foreign team. But he's literally right in your doorstep, and he's proved it against you already. A player that can come and hit the ground running, he's scored goals, but never happened. So I'd be surprised if he's not away. Like you're saying there, you're hearing he's away.
Well, that's the speculation.
Obviously, I know a couple of guys obviously in the club, and they're saying it's they're trying to work out a price for him. Obviously, there's a few clubs in there, not mentioning the clubs because I really don't know who the clubs are, but there's a few in there as well. I just, what you were saying, Aiden, is I do honestly think it's a snobbery between Celtic and Rangers because Elliot Watt, in my opinion, was one of the best midfielders in Scotland last year. Rangers fan, ex-Rangers season ticket holder, well, not going to say where he lives, but I know where he lives. And Rangers had an opportunity to bring in a midfielder who controls games. He totally controlled games for us last year. And yet they would spend the 2.2 million for him. Snobbery for me.
Well, you could even go further back there and even look at Lennon Miller as well.
Yeah.
Like a player like Celtic and Rangers, you've got, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Even for your Scottish homegrown rule too.
Yeah.
But goes to Udinese.
Celtic could and should have had him January 2025. Kevin?
The Elliot Watt thing obviously is one of those that Rangers could have done, but if they knew that Derek McInnes was coming, Derek McInnes is bringing in his midfielder, which was Cammy Devlin, so that then rules out why Elliot Watt doesn't end up at Rangers, but potentially Celtic then's got to look at that, regardless of whether Elliot Watt's a Rangers fan or not. That's totally irrelevant in football. You go where there's a huge opportunity, and an opportunity for like an Elliot Watt to go to Celtic for £2 million. That for me is a no-brainer. Because you've got Callum McGregor who's aging, and on last night's performance, Celtic's going to heavily rely on Callum McGregor once again this season because he makes everything tick. So I don't think it's a snobbery because Derek McInnes has brought Lawrence Shanklin to Rangers, so he has brought players from other parts. I don't think it's a snobbery. I just think that the markets that Celtic and Rangers are in, it's a no-brainer because it's not costing ends of the earth. We're not signing like, if you think of the boy Yakota that Rangers have just signed for allegedly £3.5 million. We don't know more about him than we do. We know more about Elliot Watt than we do about Yakota. So Elliot Watt's doing it in our league, whereas Yakota's coming here with the idea that we hope he does it in the league. So there's always a gamble. So,
but then why not? So we're talking about Masvanisi there. So if Masvanisi is going to cost $4 million, right? 4 million, 5 million, whatever it's going to cost. Why not get him as opposed to getting Tunekti or Balikwisha?
Sure.
So that is a bit of a snobbery for me.
Yeah.
Just go, no, we'd rather get someone who, he may be slightly younger, but we think he's got maybe more of a sell on, I don't know. But you've got a guy right in front of you who is proven has got good
numbers. Does that then not just come down to the manager not fancying that player, that like Martin O'Neill maybe not thinking Masvanisi can do a job for Celtic? Is that what that then comes down
to? Fancy Tunekti more.
Fancy Tunekti more.
That wasn't a Martin O'Neill decision, or was it?
Not.
Hugh,
but we should be doing more. I think Celtic and Rangers should be doing more buying though of other teams in the SPL. I think they should.
Hugh, for Motherwell, who is it's making it all tick? Because the last couple of years, when you go back, the way you handled Lennon Miller, the money you got, what you did during the summer, the managers that you're identifying, you're faster in the transfer window. Who's the guiding mind now at Motherwell?
There's a few of them in there that's doing it, but there is one main man in the background, and I don't want to mention his name because he might get poached as well. And he's the one that found Elijah Just, that found Saeed. I mean, Saeed came for the second division in Austria.
It's amazing. Yeah.
You go look, and he was outstanding at the weekend again. His energy, his commitment to the game, it's wonderful to see as a supporter, as a fan watching a guy who's wanting to entertain you. Like Aiden used to entertain you in a way. Kevin used to be up front scoring goals for big clubs like Hearts, Rangers. So it's these guys you want to see in the park, and you want to keep your entertainers. I'm sorry to be the way I am, but I want entertainers to be kept in Scotland. So I can, when I go and watch Motherwell at Fir Park, whoever's coming, I'm seeing and I've said it on this show before, Paul. I watched Hibs absolute destroyers, Tony Mowbray's team, Scott Brown, O'Connor and Thompson and all that, destroyed the 6-2 at Fir Park that night. And I stood up and applauded as a Motherwell fan. And I'm arguing with Motherwell fans saying, why you applaud? I says, I pay to watch football. That's football. But I'm here to be, I know I'm disappointed we could be, but the way Tony Mowbray's team performed, and us watching Motherwell last year, I was so entertained. See, we were 1-0 down. I wasn't worried because
I remember you said that.
Chances. We would score. And again, this season, I'm still getting that feeling. I don't want to get carried away because we're a roller coaster football team. We're up one season, down another season. That's what happens. We're not the Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Aberdeen, Hibs and all that carry on. So we've got to take what we can get. And this season, it started that way again. So I'm looking forward to it again.
Here's your manager.
They already now, when I come in after the game, the guys are talking about, you should have been a little bit lower here and you should have given the ball to me here when I made that run and so on. So those relationships is going to grow and grow and grow and grow. But it's nice then to see the spirit and to see the solidity of the team.
And a bit more.
They changed the structure a little bit in their press. We should have recognized that together a little bit earlier and made some adaptations to help the guys. We'll learn from that. I learn from that, the staff will learn from that, and the players will learn from that. As I told you, they were already speaking about it, how to solve it inside.
Great start. Hugh, thanks so much. We got there eventually. What a start.
Guys.
Cheers, Hugh.
Cheers, Hugh.
We'll speak
Thank
to you
you.
throughout the season. 0808 1717 700. The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas. Zone.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas.
Paul Cooney here with Kevin Kyle and Aiden McGeady. So Sunderland, close to your heart as well for both of you. You're well liked. Do you ever do stuff together at the club or whatever? Do you go back as a former player?
I've been back. I was back last season for kind of almost like that formal goodbye to the fans.
Yeah.
I've got something down there actually this month. I've got I get invited down to do like a fan gig.
Fantastic.
I don't know if it's like a question and answer thing, but
Have they got a presenter for it? Have they? And they've got a good one.
do you know who it'll be? It'll probably be. It might be one of the guys from the Sunderland Echo, or it'll be one of the fan zone. One of the fans' website groups. But I don't go down very often because I don't have my house down anymore.
Of course.
Anymore.
Yeah.
So no, it's a part of my life that. No, I loved it down there, but Kev's obviously down there far more than me.
Indeed, Kev, of course.
I know.
Sunderland until you die.
I go down regular just because my son lives there. He's a season ticket holder, and my older kids prefer watching Sunderland than any kind of. They like watching Premiership games now. They're in the Premiership, so we go down quite regular, maybe once every couple of months.
Right.
I've been invited down to do like the whole kind of boxes and go around and speak to the old chairman and stuff in the chairman's suite and things like that. And it's a fantastic football club, Paul. I'll take you down one day.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Aye.
I enjoyed I know it wasn't a documentary. That was one of the best ones.
If you were in it.
Heard you love being in it on the cameras.
I can imagine.
It's a proper football club, isn't it? It's like a lot of people don't realise until they're in it. It's a proper football club, like proper fans, working class people, just great area,
great
just
people,
great football club.
It's a bit like Glasgow in the West, isn't it? Yes. Let's go to talking to great people. Stevie is on the line. Hugh was earlier on. Hi, Stevie. Good evening.
Hi, Bobby, guys. How's things?
How are you doing,
Good,
Stevie?
thanks.
Stevie.
You were at the match last night. What do you think?
I had an early start this morning, so I watched it.
Yeah.
A wee shout out to Scotty Kyle. I just heard his advert there. He's a Bill Rogue player at Sickler Baron.
All right. Yeah.
So he's one who over 35. So
excellent. So
we'll all be going there.
Yeah.
We'll all be going there.
Good. So what do you make of it then with Celtic? What's on your mind tonight?
I actually enjoyed every game this weekend, Paul.
Yeah.
So that Motherwell were just outstanding. Hearts Aberdeen, they were just at it. So they were one team trying to get complacent, the other team went and rolled their sleeves up, get back into it. St Johnston, Kilmarnock, brilliant. And I think, obviously after this weekend, I don't know what the guys think, but I think a lot of the teams now are just going to be the same week in, week out, where we sort of like Cape Verde attitude and just having a go and trying to stay in the game and having a go at the big ones. I don't know what the boys think. And nice to speak to you again, Aiden.
That's right. You spoke,
of course.
last season. Yeah.
And we bumped into each other as well, didn't we?
That's right. You did.
That's right.
Yeah.
We did.
The Cape Verde factor, that's a good point. Is that what St Mirren had? I know it's maybe not a great analogy, but everyone was writing St Mirren off. Not everybody, but loads of people. Look what they did against Falkirk, 2-0.
Mark was saying it the other night, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was worried
for St Mirren. I was saying, look, give him he's got his pre-season with his group of players, 6 weeks together, where he can embed in more his principles and his philosophies. And I thought St Mirren looked very, very good at the weekend.
And do you think they can keep it up?
It's very, very difficult. I mean, we'll see if they still play that way when they come up against Celtic and Rangers. Yeah. If they do, then you take your hat off to them. But that was what Motherwell did last season. They never changed for anybody. Right. That was the style they had. They committed to that and done it and played it the full season and got all the plaudits and got a lot of credit for it. I'm enjoying this new. People are talking about different teams. St Mirren. When would you have spoken about St Mirren in the past, having a attractive style of football, one that you want to watch. So, and there's a lot of other teams kind of going down that route now as well. Look at St Johnston as well. So, I think Stephen's right. I think it's going to be an exciting season for a lot of different teams.
Kevin, you enjoyed that long weekend, every game. That's a first. Well done, Sky.
No, absolutely, Paul, because it helps showcase and the fact that most teams had a go.
Yep.
It probably put a lot more viewers watching Scottish football this weekend because the English game hasn't started, so everybody's desperate for football back. It's 7-goal thriller at McDermott Park. St Mirren going away to Falkirk winning 2-0. 3 goals at Easter Road, 3 goals at Pittodrie. Celtic and Rangers probably let the league down with their boring performances, but listen, it gives optimism because, like Aiden says, there's a lot of new managers here that are trying different styles of play. We've obviously caught on to the Bert Askew style of play last year. St Johnson manager Valkyrie's doing it. Craig McLeish at St Mirren's trying it. But what I like about St Mirren is they pass the ball well. And I was one at the beginning of the season as well that thought I was quite worried for St Mirren, but they get balls in the box. And your big guy, Killian Phillips, attacking everything. That's
two goals.
Two goals.
Can they hold on to them? We'll find out. Listen, we've only got a few minutes before the news. Stevie, what about your own club, Celtic? What are you thinking? People in, people out? What do you want to happen the next few weeks?
I think, again, I spoke to you the other week, Paul, and I said, in Martin we trust, that we know that you get these guys here the line, get them in, get them bedded. Again, obviously, the team we've got for Austria, we're going to have to be ready for them, but the big boy up front looked really, really good. I thought he was trying a wee bit too hard, Aiden. I don't know what you think on his debut. He was trying not impress everybody, rather than just settling down and playing his own game. I think he'd have got on better. He snatched a couple of things, so he did not was trying to hurry it.
Would you agree with that?
Well, I think. Look, I think he's come with a big price tag and there's pressure on him. Obviously, he's a striker. He wants to get off the mark immediately. He probably was trying a little bit too hard. I think I'll go back to that opportunity he had where he was kind of 1v1 in the box. I think with a bit of confidence behind him and say a goal behind him, I think he approaches that differently. Actually, probably takes the player on. These are things that happen in football when you're. Listen, he was in the door 2 days before that, and he's thrown into the game and expected to be this. Right, hit the ground running. You've got to be this, complete player now. So yeah, it's natural to have nerves. If you're a footballer and you say that you never get nervous, then I don't believe that.
Kieran Tierney looked to be back to his best. Would that be fair, Kevin? What did you make of him?
Listen, Kieran Tierney's a fantastic footballer. I thought that anything good that came from Celtic last night was him with the crosses he puts into the box. On the cross that he put into the box for Nygren's goal that was ultimately the winner. You can see the Dundee defenders worried more about Kasper Ho, which probably then allows the space for Nygren to get in front and get the header. And I think he had a header from Engels from a Kieran Tierney cross. So
probably should have scored.
I did read last week that there was a few Spanish teams kind of hovering over Kieran Tierney. So that's obviously interesting to see how that develops, because Kieran Tierney still has, I would say, a lot to offer quite a number of teams. And the fact that Celtic possibly didn't go and tie up Sarachi, I don't know if that is still an opportunity, then that would be a worry for me, because at this minute in time Celtic's looking to buy players in, but they're obviously not oblivious to selling a few. So would Kieran Tierney be open to a move? I don't know. It would be a big loss, but what a player.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Tierney was to go, but he looks like he's came back from the World Cup. He looks sharp, he looks strong, he looks lean. It looks like the player that we've seen first time round, albeit it's only been one game, but looks hungry, looks sharp, looks, especially his ball for the goal, his deliveries were very good as well. So, optimism.
There isn't a buzz that he is going to go, though, is there? The feeling is that he'll stay. He's back. He wants to be here in Glasgow.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Stevie, so Lask, it's not going to be easy, is it, in the Champions League? The Austrian champions, but at least it's not the thousands and thousands of miles as it was last year for Kairat Almaty.
Again, Paul, we just need to get ready for them, and there's two guys there, obviously, that they'll play the game, and you know yourself, it's not that far away. And again, if you can get another game under your belt, it makes all the difference when you get in there. And we'll see if the new guys make a difference. That's what I'm looking at. If we can get another couple of new guys in, are they going to help us make a difference and get us into the past this no tough challenge that we've got? You know what I mean? So I think, again, rather than this, wait till we get into Champions League now, buy players? No. Buy them the new. Just buy them the new.
I think that's a worry sometimes, Paul, and Stevie with Celtic, is that sometimes you wonder if they are waiting to see if they get in before they actually start spending the big cash. But I look at the team that they put out last night, and I look at the players, and I think, right, if they keep Alistair Johnson for another couple of weeks, Alistair Johnson, Vickers, Trusty, Tierney, that's as good as back four Celtic can possibly have. Then you've got Engels, McGregor midfield. Obviously, the situation with the wide men, Duran, Taneke, Yang, Forrest, whoever they pick from that group, and then Ho up front. That's a team that's still capable of getting a result against Lask home and away. Like Stevie says, you would ideally want one, at least maybe two in.
Going to have to jump in for the news. Stevie, thank you so much. We're back after the latest news at 6.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
Loads of calls coming in tonight. Paul Cooney with Aiden McGeady and Kevin Kyle. Kevin, a few people are on saying Peter Grant was one of them. One of your boys was playing in a golf tournament the weekend. How did he get on? And the remarkable thing is, he's 9 and he was playing a player at what age?
I think 15.
15.
Wow. Tom, my youngest Tom.
Well done, Tom. Yeah.
He got to the final of the Handicap Club Championship, so it's a knockout stage, and he got to quarter-final, won his quarter, won his semi, got to the final, and he lost in the last hole.
He's
9-year-old.
Wow.
Aye, so
has he got a manager?
He's got a manager. His name's me. I'm just hoping that somebody says you love your kids to be a footballer. I'm like, no, I want my kids to be golfers so that I can kiddie around the hole for them.
It's great though, kids doing whatever it is, any kind of exercise, boys, girls, because too many of them are on the PlayStation or whatever it is these days. So it's absolutely brilliant to hear. Yeah, and Aiden, your young ones as well are into football.
Mad into football. So they both had games at the weekend, but it's the life of a football parent. I'm now understanding the sacrifices that my mum and dad made. So one of us is away here and one's away the other side of the country, or if it's not there, it's down south. So it's good, it's enjoyable, but I wouldn't change it.
Did you realise it was a taxi you'd have? Because that's
I
what it's
basically
like,
became
isn't
a taxi driver since I retired. Basically, I became but I don't get paid for it. So
it's so difficult. Like, I've got 4 kids, and every night of the week somebody's doing something, and then see when you get sat down, maybe 7:30 in the night time, you're like, it's luxury, but it doesn't happen very often.
I had to go to Calvin Harris. I had to come to Hampden last night to pick up my daughter and our 4 pals, 3 pals for Calvin Harris.
Did she
enjoy
I
was
it?
sitting there. She enjoyed it. I was like, I seen him in Vegas. I don't need to go to Hampden.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
In Vegas years ago, but I was there till 12:15.
Was he a football lover, Calvin Harris?
I don't know. He's from Annan, isn't he? So
he is. I
think he supported Gretna before they went extinct.
Okay, yeah. He probably could have bought them.
He's from Annan.
He has done well, hasn't he? Yep.
Oh, aye, definitely.
I was there till 12:15 last night, weaving in cars at Hampden. So I'm a taxi driver now.
Well, was that Sunday night? Yeah.
Sorry, Sunday night. Sunday night was Sunday night.
Time is flying in, isn't it? The Commonwealth Games, we spoke about it last night, and Big Charlie was saying, I'd like to go to one of them. I was like, Charlie, it finished yesterday. He'd been at Calvin Harris as well, so I think he was thoroughly enjoying it. What a week we've got coming up. European football. Your old club Rangers fly out on Wednesday. They've got a game in Poland, Kevin. We're not going to get into the details tonight, but it comes thick and fast now, doesn't it? It kind of non-stop now until the international break in September.
That's probably what Derek wants. Derek will probably try and like all these games coming thick and fast. It gives him time to get more eyes on his players and see where they are in terms of what his best starting 11 is and who's performing better than others, and get his settled team ready for the games when obviously the game on Thursday is a big game. Obviously they need to try and win it because it's a European tie, but it'll not be too long, Paul, before we're talking about an Old Firm game, Celtic and Rangers, and both sets of clubs will be wanting to have their strongest team out, their team that's performing well, getting up to their style of plays and what have you. And this is what these next lot of games are all about, is finding that.
Aiden was keeping me right. It's Jagiellonia Białystok, the Polish team. And
I only know that because Killian Sheridan, one of the former players, don't know how well he done there right enough, but he'd a couple of stints over there, but they wear like it's almost like Partick Thistle. It's like red and yellow stripes, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't see too many of those, of course. And the Jags, will they come up? We'll ask you about that. Who's going to win the championship? See, Ayr United did well. Aiden said it on Friday. Look out for Ayr United this season. But let's go back on the lines. Loads of calls coming in. And here's Kurt on the line, a Rangers fan. Hi, Kurt. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. I'll tell you what it is, mate.
Yeah.
I've been saying for the last 6 months we need to get rid of Raskin, because Raskin's not kicked a ball since Christmas, right? They all bottled it, and I thought during the World Cup Raskin will be sold 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we'll get a marquee signing like Lewis Ferguson or even Mikey Moore. See if it's creativity in that team. That team's going to be worse than last season. And I know Kevin personally, actually. Right. So Kevin comes to the same town as me, and Kevin's a good lad.
He is indeed. It is a worry, isn't it? Raskin will probably go, though. There's been nothing said about it.
He's definitely going. He's definitely going, but surely they haven't got Cammy Devlin to replace him.
Yeah.
It's, well, sorry, Kurt. Nice to hear from you, mate. Raskin will go, right? But at this minute in time, it doesn't look like he is going, because nobody's come in with any concrete offers. There's no really a lot of a rumour mill floating about. Everybody was.
Too much money for him, Kevin.
I'm not too sure they're wanting too much money for him, Cut. I think that the lack of offers is what's dictating how this is playing out, because he's went to the World Cup. He's done all right in the World Cup. He hasn't.
I said for January, Kevin, that he never kicked a ball for us. He was keeping himself for the World Cup to get a move. You know what I mean?
But I think,
you know, I go to every Rangers game, Kevin. You know that.
I know, but it's very difficult to keep yourself no kicking a ball, keeping yourself for a World Cup. He's obviously has to play well to get himself into a World Cup squad. He's then played quite a lot of the games for Belgium in the World Cup. But his performances haven't indicated to any club around that they're willing to pay possibly 20 to 25 million pounds for him.
Kevin. Kevin, I don't think he's worth 10 million, mate, to tell you the truth. I don't think he's worth 10 million. I think Mikey Moore is the best player I've seen at Ibrox since Paul Gascoigne, mate. And I've been to Ibrox, as you know, for about 40 odd years.
All right. Aidan, what do you make of Raskin? I mean, they're very different players. So Raskin, I mean, he's more than 10 million.
I would say we go for more than 10 million, but I agree with Kurt. I don't think he's 20, 25 million. He's not giving you the same output, say, as a Matt O'Reilly, who went for 25, 30. I don't think he's in that ballpark figure. But it works both ways. I understand what you're saying, that he's maybe keeping himself right for the World Cup to try and get a move, but also that can play into his hands, because then if what we're led to believe is that he does want to leave, it can be easier for him to leave then.
Cup, mate. He never kicked a ball. He never kicked a ball for Rangers for January.
But then, listen, I agree. I'm not Raskin's biggest fan either. But if he does have a good World Cup, which he did quite well in the World Cup in the games he played, it then kind of goes against him, because it's harder for him to leave because Rangers are going to want more money for him. So he's in a bit of a catch-22 now.
But it's not the thing. What I was looking for, boys, was like one marquee signing like Celtic had. We've got no marquee signings. We've all got journeymen. All these guys that we've signed are all journeymen.
I know, but Kurt, 2 seconds, man. What I'm going to say is, it's great to have a marquee signing, right, and it gets everybody excited, but it's not always guaranteed that the marquee signing becomes the main player or he hits the ground running. Celtic signed a striker last night, £11 million, and everybody excited about it. But last night he didn't score, and straight away some Celtic fans are mumbling, some Rangers fans are mumbling from the weekend that Lawrence Shankland didn't work. You have to give these people time. What Rangers are doing is they're playing.
I'm prepared, Kevin, to give them time.
But Rangers are playing the game.
I thought we were going to win the league last year.
I know.
But I thought Mikey Moore was absolutely outstanding. Yeah. Mate. I'm not joking. He's absolutely. To me, he's going to be the next big thing.
What about Mikey Moore? Rangers are not going to get him.
Mikey Moore's not going to.
We spoke about it last night.
He's a fantastic player, and what he has done is what Tottenham Hotspur would have expected. We are going to loan out one of our most promising young players to a big club like Glasgow Rangers. He's going to go up there and potentially, hopefully, perform the way that we hope he can do and gain the experience. And if he could do that, then he would go back to Tottenham with the idea of possibly breaking into the Tottenham side. Tottenham's not going to then sell Mikey Moore to Glasgow Rangers. They're going to have a look at him and give him an opportunity down there. And would Rangers be able to afford somebody like Mikey Moore? Because by all accounts, he was on 40, 50 grand a week at Tottenham as we speak. Sure. So if he's going to get a move, are Rangers going to be paying 50, 60,000 pounds a week to a Mikey Moore? And I don't think they are.
And even if he does go back down and doesn't get in the Tottenham's first team, he'll be loaned out again, but it won't be to a Rangers. It'll be to a championship team, or maybe a team abroad who they think is in a better standard of league.
I see Nico Raskin has been included in the Rangers squad for the game on Thursday, but John Souttar hasn't been. So we've not seen John Souttar. Looks as though he's going to go probably south of the border, but Raskin is in there. So that would indicate just now it's gone quiet on that front, because it's clear. I mean, he was posted missing after the split when Rangers went in as favourites, and you can hear Kurt. And I think everyone would agree. I mean, he did kick a ball for Rangers, but not right at the end of the season. He was posted missing.
The thing is, for me, Nico Raskin can't now do what some footballers do and take the huff. Nico Raskin's in the squad this Thursday. He needs to try and get himself back in the Rangers team. He needs to start performing. He needs to show a good attitude. And what he needs to do is get back to those levels of performance that had everybody talking about him. And if he does that, then he'll get the move that he's probably looking for. But at this minute in time, if he doesn't get back into the Rangers squad, if he doesn't perform, then he's not going anywhere, Paul. That's the reality of it.
There actually haven't been any bids for him.
No, there's been no talk.
He's nothing to take the huff off over. There's been no bids for him, so
I would like to
you do
think
your
he'll
job.
be professional and he'll get involved back in the squad and start performing at a level that will attract him some sort of level of bid.
Kurt, can we ask you about Asgard? Was that a high point for you then with his goal at the weekend? Do you rate him?
Well, honestly, mate, Kevin knows me, and I led a protest last year, right? This was the one before, it was to get rid of Russell Martin. It was a week before the Union Bears done it. And I say, see you, if you're as good a football player as what you were doing your hair, I says you'd be looking like Messi. You know what I mean?
It can be a bit. I mean,
What an improvement, mate! What an improvement in a player. Kevin's wrong. See, Rangers and Celtic fans, it's instant success, mate. There's not. We've got to give Derek McInnes time, even if he doesn't win nothing this year. We've got to let him build a team because we've had 5-6 managers there with different players and all the rest of it. There's no settlement at Rangers.
That's interesting. That he's saying Derek McInnes, you need to give him time, even if they don't win anything this season.
Like Aiden said,
come back on in 6 months, I can say that.
Aiden said at the top of the show, at Celtic and Rangers, you don't get that time. They've hijacked Hearts to bring Derek McInnes to the club because they want success. And it's now down to Derek McInnes, and that's down to what he does in the training field. That's down to who he brings into the club, and that's how he gets the Rangers fans on side. And the only way he'll do that is by winning games. And if he's doing that and puts himself in with a chance of winning this league, then Rangers fans will be happy. But see, come the end of the season, Paul, if it ends up the same as it has done for the last, 13 out of 14 years or 14 out of 15 years, then he'll end up in the same place as every other manager. Whereas they'll get somebody else in to try.
Kurt, just to kind of caveat that and ask you that question back then. So you're saying give Derek McInnes time and give him, let him.
To give him time, mate.
Okay, no, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but give him time, right? So, but in 15 games' time, after the 15th match day, Rangers are trailing Celtic by 8 points. What are you saying then?
Friday night, I thought the Rangers supporters were spoiled, huffy, blah, blah, blah. We got away from it with a point where we should have been beat, mate.
Kurt, did you hear what I said there, though? Did you hear the question I asked you? So you're saying give Derek McInnes time, but after 15 games, you're trailing Celtic by 8 points. Are you still saying give him time then?
Well, see, by Christmas, if that's the case, you know what's going to happen, didn't you? He's going to get the bullet. They'll put Ferguson
but I'm asking you, though, because you're saying give him time. What's time?
No, mate, honestly, I want to give him 2 seasons to build a team. Right. I don't care if we don't win anything for the next 2 years. I just want us to build a team to try and be successful again, because it's been a long, long time. 14 out of 15 years.
I agree. I agree. The manager turnover is too high.
But think what, like, Clement blew the league. He couldn't beat Ross County. He couldn't beat St Johnstone. He couldn't beat all the garbage.
So then you've got to ask yourself, Kurt, is that some of these managers that have come in have run Celtic close, but for whatever, if you think we go back to Danny Rose, the same. He had 9 cup finals. He won the first 5 and he lost the last 4 and they lost the league. Had he just won those 4 games, Rangers win the title, and it's a completely different story. So we've got to then ask is, why does that keep happening?
Yep. And that's the question for Derek McInnes. Kurt, thank you so much. There's loads of calls coming in. 0808 17 17 700. That's a big if, Aiden. But I take your point there if they were 8 points behind. Derek McInnes, what he did last season, I mean, he had Hearts at top of the table for right until the last 4 minutes of the game, wasn't it?
I don't think, I'm not saying,
no,
I think that will happen, but just hypothetically.
I know.
You can have one thing, I want to build a team, I want to have a playing style, I want to have a philosophy, we want to bring the right players in, but we're still miles behind Celtic. Rangers fans won't stand for that. I don't think that's why I was asking that question.
Win. I know.
Paul, the thing is that it's great for a fan to say he wants to give a manager time and build a team over the next couple of seasons. Even if he builds a decent team this season and falls short, there's no guarantee that they become the next season, that team's going to continue and then topple whoever it is they need to topple. There's nothing guaranteed. What happens in the Scottish game is that you have to build a team to be successful in that season you're in. You can't think too far ahead.
Unless you're at a smaller club,
of course,
out of Celtic and Rangers, I think.
And looking at the transfers, right? Derek McInnes, I asked you the other night who you think will win the league But for Derek McInnes, I don't think you'd be in any doubt that he will improve Rangers. Would that be fair?
I would agree that he'll improve Rangers. What he'll end up doing is he'll have a certain style with Rangers that the Rangers fans can identify with. The style may not be, we've talked about that a week ago, Paul, that it may not be the style that Rangers fans are going to get excited by. They're going to be bums on seats. But if it's a style that gets them 3 points every weekend and runs them close to a title, then Rangers fans will accept that because they need success. We talk about the League Cup coming up. Rangers need to prioritise that League Cup. They need to try and win that League Cup because the minute you get that trophy, that changes the whole dynamic. But it's baby steps at the minute for Rangers. It's week to week. That's where we're at.
Have they signed journeymen? I don't really like that phrase because that's maybe a bit unfair, and I'm not sure there's any superstars coming into Scottish football at the moment.
Even when Kurt said, a star signing, Lewis Ferguson, that doesn't strike me as the big money star signing either. I think they need more than that. Going back to what he was talking about Raskin and that midfield, that was one thing that I thought was massively evident against Dundee United, was that real lack of creativity in that midfield. I think they're all too similar. Going by, I said I gave Dan Neil a glowing write up here before the game on Friday, but Dan Neil's got creativity in him, but he's not going to beat players. He's got an eye for a pass, but I think him, Raskin, I think Diamande, I think they're all very similar. I think they need someone who's different to that.
And that's the thing, Paul. They keep talking about a marquee signing. Rangers are probably then resorting back to the 90s when they had every other week was a marquee signing. A Brian Laudrup, a Paul Gascoigne, an Amaruso, a Rino Gattuso. There was all these marquee guys that fast forward 30 years, Scottish football is different. A marquee signing now is somebody that you think is doing well, maybe in an English Championship, or somebody you get on loan, like a Mikey Moore from Tottenham that comes up and does a wonderful, like a Czerny's come in and done well. Mikey Moore's come in and done well. Rangers aren't going to get these, and it's the same with Celtic.
Of course, those
Celtic
days
aren't
have gone.
bringing in marquee signings. What you're bringing in is you're bringing in somebody that's proven at another team, and you're hoping that they come into your club and they improve what you already have within the building.
But see as well that going back to that, it's almost contradictory as well, because you had a lot of fans last season saying no players in the team that understand Rangers, that don't get it, want British players, and then you bring some in who are British born, who kind of understand Rangers, and then they're labelled as their journeyman. So what do you want? What do you want?
Look,
it's a tough one.
Winning games, that's it.
Yeah. At Celtic, Matt O'Reilly was hardly known. He was a young player coming in, and then they got 25 million for him. So when you look back, he was a marquee signing, but nobody knew it at the time. Look at Negron at the moment. Now, look, he's got his faults.
Flo was a marquee signing.
That's
as well.
right, and he was. And then at that point, it was £12 million, the most expensive player, and it didn't quite work out for him. So what is a marquee signing? But look, I think we all agree the economics of the game have completely changed since the 90s when Rangers and Celtic were bringing in some of the biggest players in British football. And Europe, the De Boers and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's difficult, Paul, and I've not experienced it, but in terms of like the recruitment of players, it's stats and numbers can all be exciting and appealing and think, oh wow, he fits every criteria that we need. But see, if the character's not right to fit the club, then that can all be like, it can be a double reverse effect of not working out, because some people come up to this game and just get it, they just understand it. There's been a few loans that like Mikey Moore come up, got it, understood it, but had the pedigree to follow up.
Had the mentality as well.
Had the mentality. Where Scove Olsen come in with a great pedigree, done amazing in certain parts of his career, but didn't have the attitude or the desire to go on and push on his Rangers career, so he was a failure. It's sometimes you're having to sign character, and how do you know if that character is going to fit your club?
And Danny Rule kept playing Scove Olsen. Was it the Hearts game? I remember being in the studio here, and was that the first game after the? I shouldn't ask questions on here that I'm not sure the answer to. But remember that? I remember Barry was sitting here. We had it on. It was like a watch along, 5 o'clock. And when I saw the team and Scove Olsen, I said, "What's he going to do now with 5 games to go that he hasn't done for most of the rest of the season?"
He's hoping he's getting something different that he's not gotten before, but. Again, Kevin's right. There's certain clubs fit certain players, don't they? And you have to be a certain type of character, come up here and play for Celtic or Rangers and deal with hostility, expectation, pressure every single game. Because down south you don't get that.
Sorry. Rangers fan Andy is on saying, guys, Dan Neil, why didn't he start him the other night? Now, we don't know the answer. We'd have to ask Derek McInnes, but he came on, he got involved right away, a bit of bite. I know he got booked. Having seen half a game of Dan Neil, how do you think he's going to do at Rangers?
I think Dan Neil personally will do well. Like I said on Friday, I gave him a glowing review of my thoughts on him. Strange to see why he didn't start on Friday because I did think that McInnes was a big fan of him, but clearly wanted Devlin in there. Clearly wanted Diamandi for other reasons as well. I think he'll do well. He's got the mentality. Look, he's played at a. I would say it's a club that could be. You could say it's very, very close in terms of stature and fan base to Rangers in Sunderland.
Yeah.
He handled it down there. He was captain down there. I think the season before he left. Very good player, young, great, really, really good attitude, and I think he'll be a success.
Rangers fans will say it's not quite the stature of Rangers, but Kevin, what do you make
Get
of
more
Dan Neil?
fans.
Yeah.
No, listen, I'm in the same agreement with Aiden. I watched him in League One when he helped Sunderland get promoted into Championship. I watched him in the Championship, who helped Sunderland get promoted to the Premiership, was the captain.
Yep.
I wouldn't say he dictated a lot of games, but what he was he kept the ball moving. He picked up good areas in the centre midfield. He's a leader. That definitely comes without question. He was born and bred in Sunderland. Maybe that's the reason why he got the captaincy. But to be the captain, lead your team to win the Championship to get to the Premiership. The manager then, Reza Bree, didn't see enough in Dan Neil to take him on to the Premiership, but he then went and loaned to Ipswich, who
they get promoted.
They got promoted. So if you're thinking of Arnie Engels going south to West Ham in the English Championship, well, Dan Neil's kind of completed the English Championship. So there's this argument that we judged players too quickly in Scottish football. And for me, give Dan Neil time and Dan Neil will show you why.
I think it's... Sorry, Kevin, you go.
No, Dan Neil will show you why he's been signed for Rangers.
I think it's because he was on a free as well, and I was very surprised at that because before when he was under contract, there was a lot of rumours of big teams being in for him when I was there. But very good young player, and like Kev says, the way he can manipulate the ball, and he's very, very, very forward thinking. I love playing with him because see, any time Kev will know this, obviously being a player, when you're in between that kind of half spaces, you want to call it, or you're in between the lines, and there's a bit of a risky pass on for a centre mid. I've played with so many who'll take the easy option, pass it sideways. He'll fire it through.
Does he go for it?
He goes for it.
Good, love it.
So I love playing with him, and he's very, very forward thinking and very good young players. But like Rangers it's a different animal when there's expectation. But at Sunderland, he did come in for a bit of criticism at times, but still went out there and still played every single week. It can handle the pressure.
Kurt was on there. Do you know Kurt?
You know what?
I know Kurt now. I think.
You know him as well. We feel as though we
just now remembered who he is.
Tell you more after
good
this. We're back after the break.
No.
phone.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas.
And Kurt, good to hear you earlier on there from, is it Stranraer originally?
He's definitely from Stranraer.
Yeah.
I know
Big
him now,
Kurt.
man. He's a great guy.
Great to hear you on the show, Kurt. Thank you for that. Aiden as well. I checked during the break about the size of the grounds between the Stadium of Light and Ibrox, and Ibrox is just that little bit bigger. But I mean, I think people here in the Glasgow area know Sunderland, huge club. And a great rivalry there with Newcastle
Paul,
as well.
When I signed with Rangers, people said to me, what does it feel like to play for Rangers? It must be like amazing, the crowd and the size and the club. And obviously I knew growing up the size and magnitude of Glasgow Rangers. But the reality is, for me, growing up in my early career at Sunderland, getting 49,000 every week, it felt similar. But obviously Rangers are a far bigger club than Sunderland are. But in terms of that feel and passion and stuff, it was very on a similar level.
Quite a few comments coming in from Celtic fans last night saying pleased to get off with a win. They would like to have seen more goals. Well, that goes without saying. Let's hear the manager speak then about the new striker. What are we calling him? Big Casper.
Well, I think he will score goals for us. Yes, he did. I want them. As I've always wanted centre forwards, just get hold of the ball at times. But he's getting to know his players. He's just arrived at the football club and he's getting to know. And when he does, when he knows everybody's name, including mine, then he'll be an asset to us. It ran away from him today on a couple of occasions, which I think that super confident, knowing everything about the place, super confident player would put them in the net.
Aiden, do you think his summary he'll be fine?
I think I think he will be fine.
Yeah.
I think the encouraging thing is that he was in the box and he was in the right place to miss the chances. And I don't think they were easy chances either. I think the first one he was slightly ahead of him. The second one was slightly behind him. So he's in the right place at the right time, and look, that's all you want. I'd be more worried if he wasn't there. But I think in time, once he gets his first goal, hopefully, I think you'll see them flowing freely. Sorry.
Good atmosphere last night. Of course, it's Flag Day, a bit different.
I always find Flag Day a bit of a funny one because I've been on the end of a few games on Flag Day where it's a nice day, the unfurling of the flag, and it's a bit of a spectacle on occasion, and the game's just flat. We end up drawing the game, or I don't think I've ever lost on Flag Day, but drawing the game, or we won 1-0 but put in a really poor performance. A few, it's not a game that as a legend goes, that it's a fantastic Flag Day. We win 4 and 5-0. And that never happened when I was a player. But no, the atmosphere was good. Different to what maybe some people would have expected. But I think with the fans' frustration earlier on in pre-season being quite visible to everyone, I think that with the signing of Hugh coming in, I think that's quelled a little bit of the fans' voices.
And Duran as well, because I heard what you both said earlier on. He scored 3 goals in pre-season, and you maybe want to see him through the middle. Lask came out the hat for Celtic, the Austrian champions, a few hours ahead of the game. Martin O'Neill spoke to Sky about the Champions League qualifier after the match.
First of all, delighted to have this opportunity, if it's an opportunity, and by the time that we get round to playing them, I'm hoping that we'll know everything about them. Same for them to know about us as well too. So Austrian champions, I would be obviously concerned about the game, but I'm always concerned about matches.
He is, isn't he? So Callum McGregor, the captain, was also spoke. He was asked about it afterwards. Just 2 weeks to go, and the first game will be in Glasgow.
Yeah, that's it. It's just trying to find rhythm, tempo and flow in the game, and try and get the boys playing together as much as we can, so that, like you said, first and foremost, we're ready for the league games in the cup. But then obviously we all know this club wants Champions League football, so we have to make sure we're ready for that. I think it's trying to arrive in maybe better momentum than potentially what we did into the games last year. So that's on us every day in training, trying to refine what it is we're trying to do, building relationships for new guys, and then, like I said, trying to build that positive momentum so that when we arrive into the game, we obviously play the game first at home. Can we get a big result, and hopefully that'll be enough to take us through, but obviously a lot of work to be done until we get to that point.
Kevin Joseph's on asking, would you rather play a club like the Austrian champions or make the long journey to a Kairat Almaty?
I wouldn't be too phased at a journey time. I think regardless of who you play, you're there to try and win the game and get through into Champions League. So I think it's it's ideal that it's Austria and that it's not too far of a journey. I think the good thing for Celtic is that it's at home. Hopefully put on a spectacle and a right good performance, they can get some sort of advantage from the first leg. So going over to Austria, it might be hopefully a foregone conclusion, because it'd be good if Celtic can qualify for the Champions League. But listen, it's not going to be easy. But if Celtic can get a couple of bodies in before then they could make it a lot easier for them.
And obviously they're the team who beat Sturm Graz to the Austrian title just a few months ago. Aiden, I know that was last season, but we know how good Hearts were last season, but they lost 6 goals to Sturm Graz just last week and the week before.
No, not that any of us have watched much of their play at all, but I think they're going to be a very good team.
Yeah.
But I think Callum's right on what he's saying. It's just build the momentum going into this game and hopefully not have the repeat of last year where the club were stuttering into this game against Carrot Almaty, and you could see it on the night and over both games, poor performances, and then that backed up with the lack of signings, and then the players that they let go as well. Rumblings in around the building of Brendan Rodgers being unhappy at the time.
Yeah.
Just all added to the way that terrible exit of last year. So good start for Celtic and going into these very, very important games. But I think the club need this season.
Yeah.
I think they need it. The fans need it back.
It was such a hangover last year, wasn't it? Everything changed when you're not going to blame Daizen Maeda, but remember that chance late in the game, and it could have been so different. But maybe the cracks were there already. There was unhappiness about the lack of signings. Maeda himself thought he was leaving last summer, and it didn't happen. So, but it's incredible to think that's just a year ago. Brendan Rodgers was in charge. But
a lot's happened in that last year as well.
Yeah, the Celtic fans don't love the Europa League.
No, listen, I never was a big fan of the Europa League when I was a player either, because it's that you want to qualify for the Champions League and then you just miss out, and then it's Thursdays, every Thursday night, and then every single one of your league games near enough is a Sunday, so your week totally changes. And look, we never ever went that far in the Europa League either, and I'm saying that now the last few years we've seen a lot of English teams have been winning European trophies, Conference League and Europa League, but I wasn't a fan of it. It was Champions League or nothing, I thought, because there's nothing compares to the Champions League.
John McGinn liked it because he lifted that trophy just a few months ago. But Kevin, there's something about it. Remember 3-4 years ago, we had Celtic and Rangers in the Champions League. That music was on every Tuesday night, Wednesday night. I know it was tough for both teams, but you can't beat the Champions League, can you?
No, listen, I think the new format of the Champions League definitely gives clubs like Celtic and Rangers an opportunity to try and progress, because it's not the group of 4, it's the big massive group of 12 or whatever it is, and you get all those games, and to have both of them back in the Champions League down the line would be a fairy tale again. But Celtic's got to try and take care of their own business first, and if they can get through this game with Lask over to we're talking about the Austrian champions, it's going to be difficult, but if you watch the Sturm Graz first leg when Hearts went over there, Hearts did all right in the game.
That's right. Yeah.
So Hearts aren't performing particularly great at the beginning of the season. Celtic obviously on their performance last night, so you've got to think that Lask aren't going to be these world beaters that are going to run over the top of Celtic. Celtic should possibly be favourites within the game. It just depends how quickly Celtic can get up to speed from now to 2 weeks' time to take part in this game, and I think Celtic will be all right.
Frosinone, the Italian team, have rejected, apparently this is Sky Sports, an £8 million bid from Rangers for the Fares Gajemis. We've talked about him for a couple of weeks now. Fares Gajemis, the Algerian winger. Celtic apparently had a £6 million offer, so there's a bit of a bidding war going on for him. Celtic could do with him, so could Rangers, but it looks as though Rangers are getting the Japanese player coming in today.
He was the winger that Celtic went with in January as well, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, I've not seen anything of him at all, to be honest, but I do think Celtic are still crying out for 2 wingers. So any welcome addition would be very satisfying.
For Dundee, just for those tuning in, Aiden McGeady with us, and you're doing a bit of work with them this year for Elvis, for Stephen Presley, and he must have been pleased last night the way some of his players performed. In fact, to come away 1-0 at Celtic Park.
Look, I think he knew going into the game, because look, they've lost a lot of players this season. Some very good loans last season that performed for them. They've got a young team. They do have a young team, but I think they'll be fine this season. I think they'll be fine. He's got
a bit of pace, haven't they?
They've got a bit of pace. Yeah, they do have a bit of pace. They've got Joe Bevan on the right side, Charlie on the left. they are predominantly the two wingers that he does want me to work with. So I'm trying not to give too much away.
No,
here. It's almost
exactly.
like
Right.
inside knowledge here.
Yeah, indeed.
Insider trading. But no, I think they'll be fine this season, because I went up to watch them the last League Cup game as well, and at times it was an easy-ish game for them against Clyde, but at times I could see what they're trying to do, and I can see the way that he's trying to play. Because bear in mind, when he was appointed, he wasn't a hugely popular appointment, but he seems to have turned that around, kept the team up last season, and I think he will build on that. But I do think the squad is light in certain areas, and he knows that. But to go to Celtic Park and look, I think performed pretty well. Albeit Celtic weren't at their best, performed pretty well. I'm reasonably happy with that.
He's got a new contract as well, Kevin, so it's not a bad thing for Stephen Presley. He's just that bit different. You have to admire that, don't you?
Is he different? For me, like, Elvis has always been articulate. Even when I was fortunate enough to play with Elvis in a couple of Scotland squads, and always found him a really good a leader. He spoke well, very, very likeable. And the fact that he's went to, like, I don't know how it's come about, Aiden, but the fact that you're in there helping on a position-specific type role, that's kind of unheard of in football, Paul. There's not a lot. You see a lot of people, the goalkeepers have a goalie coach.
Yeah.
Sometimes a striker coach may come in and help the strikers, but for somebody to come in and actually help wingers, for me, that, like, the way I played the game, wingers were huge for my career, because if I had two good wingers on the wings getting down the wing, and Aiden was I never got the chance to play with Aiden or whatever, but he was the type of winger I would love to have played with. Somebody that got to the byline, and instead of crossing the ball in front, he's dinking things towards the back. And
you just scored 8 under me.
8, maybe 80. But
what a combination!
It was like, I'm not going
How did we never play together?
I'm not going to compare him to somebody like the guy I played with was John Oster, who came from Everton to Sunderland. He was very similar, where quick feet, got to the byline, and when he would just stand the ball up at the back stick, and I knew that was happening. I mean, you're 6'4" coming in late. Defenders struggle with that. So the fact that Elvis has got him in working, I think that's amazing, because what hopefully we'll see is there's somebody like Joe Bevan, who I saw in the Lowland League, I think, playing with, maybe not the Lowland League, I think it was Gilsyth.
Right.
Gilsyth Athletic.
I think it was Camelin Juniors.
I think it was Gilsyth. And then he went to Albion Rovers, down to Burnley. He's raw, so he needs work.
Sure.
And only somebody like Aiden to help him, we end up might seeing somebody who could really set the Premiership alight. You know what I mean?
I think it's brilliant for me, because look, these types of roles aren't in Scotland. Down in England, they're prevalent. They're everywhere down there. Scotland, we don't have the budget for it. You know, these roles aren't at every single club, but there's things that I see, because it was my game. There's things that I see in players that I think I can tweak, and I think I can help them and develop. And Elvis has given me the opportunity to do that, and I think it's great, because I want to help these boys be as good as get to as high a level in their football career as they can.
We say there's no budget for it, but the money is there when you think about it, because you pay money for $4.5 million for Balikwisha, no harm.
Yeah, but clubs can't justify a budget for that. That's what I mean. What's the value? Somebody would have to show a metric of value of what I was doing to show that how I increase someone's transfer fee. They would have to budget towards that, and that isn't there yet.
That's where I struggle with the bringing the Balikwisha, the Tenekis, and Rangers bring in the players that they bring in, but they won't spend maybe, I don't know what the figure is, say 50 grand a year, 60 grand a year on a specific coach that can help these players that they're bringing in. So when Balikwisha comes in and doesn't hit the ground running, what happens if he had an Aiden McGeady alongside him, actually helping him grow that confidence, bring the player that they thought they were signing and help that kid a little bit more? Then your £5 million is well spent, but we can't seem to afford to spend, I don't know what the salary is. I'm just rounding up a number.
It's the same with academies as well. You see, an academy coach, there's 2 coaches at every academy, isn't there? Academy level at Celtic, Rangers. They physically can't dedicate time to every single player, improving every aspect of their game. But you can have other people that can do that. But on the side of that, they're taking a training session. Look, you go away for half an hour with them, and you work on your heading, you work on your crossing, you work on your recoveries, whatever. We can do it, because, like you said, the money is there, but it's just not budgeted for it.
The allocation of funds. Who's going to win the championship? We spoke about it the other day, but Aiden, I mentioned it last night. Ayr United, 2-goal win at the weekend. I don't think you said they would win it, but you said, hey, we'll look out for them.
Just because they were the talk of who was going to win the championship, United been mentioned. Done very well in the League Cup so far, and started the season with a win. And there's still a few boys that I speak to there who are still there. They're doing really well. I think he's brought in a lot of players that he knows from the past, a lot of players that have played under him in the past. But I'd be saying they'll be up there coming into the season.
I always listen to what Mark Guidi says. Yes, I do. And the other night I heard him saying about Mark Wilson and said there's interest at other clubs in Mark Wilson. So that's one to look out for, because Mark Guidi last year, he said it will be Martin and he'll be back as the Celtic manager. And he said Danny Rule won't be here at the beginning of the new season.
He knows a lot, Mark,
after
does.
Rangers had said, no, he's going to be our guy. To be fair to Rangers, they did well because they kept the transfer value of Danny Rule high by saying he's our guy. But I don't think it was probably the right thing for him to go, as we know he's now gone to Austria. What do you think, Mark Wilson, the job he's done? Alec Ray as well at Partick Thistle?
I think for Mark Wilson, he dipped into management with Airdrie a long time ago under Gordon Dales.
That's right.
As well.
Yeah.
So then he went back to his radio, his media stuff,
Yep.
and then he's got the opportunity to come back into Partick Thistle because he was taking the Partick Thistle ladies team for a longer time, and then when they got rid of the manager, they brought in Brian Graham and Mark Wilson, and they've done really, really well. Let's not beat about the bush. Partick Thistle have done well. They'll be one of the favourites to win the championship. I'm in agreement with Aiden. I like the look of Ayr. I know that Livingston have gambled on budget-wise to try and get them back up. So it's going to be an interesting league. But listen, Mark Wilson, if you do well in the championship, along with the guys maybe like Mick Kennedy, who's in the second division, East Kilbride, they've started the season winning 5-1 and play a very attractive style of football. These guys are going to be in demand because they're trying something a little bit different, and that's probably catching the eye of a lot of Scottish chairmen at this minute in time.
But where is it for Mark Wilson though? Is it a Scottish team? Is it a job in the SPFL, or is it an English team?
Who knows?
It's very unlikely. It doesn't happen very often, does it? A manager goes from the Scottish Championship down to England. I think the last one I can remember was probably Jack Ross, maybe.
Possibly, aye.
Well,
Who done fantastically well, got manager of the year, but he went to Sunderland. It doesn't happen very often, does it?
We'll ask him on Friday night when he's here.
Jackson, is he?
Yeah, indeed. Mark will be here with Barry this Friday night, not Jack Ross.
Oh, Mark's coming in.
Mark will
sorry,
be
I thought you meant Jack Ross.
No, Mark will be in. Paul is on the line just after this short break.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas.
Straight onto the lines, and first up now, just after the break, is Paul, a big Rangers fan. Hi, Paul. Good evening.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for letting me on the show.
Pleasure. Good to hear you.
Hi.
So, what are you feeling after the first weekend?
Believe it or not, this might sound crazy, right? But I actually think the league could actually be over for Rangers. I know, and hear me out on it. It's not only disappointment through it not opening the opening game, winning the opening game for the fourth year running. It's the fact that it's been criminal. Like, Paul, you always mention the bluffers, like Thelwell and people like that. Yeah. The recruitment department at Rangers, now I hear Graham Souness has been on today talking about it. I tried to go on the show yesterday, and I just couldn't get on. But the recruitment department have got a lot to answer for at Rangers, because you're saying the word bluffers. They're bluffers then, because I want to ask Kevin and Aiden, how many players under the leadership in that recruitment team, from Robbie Thelwell to Dan Purdy, have been a success? Now, Cammy Devlin and Lawrence Shankland, the majority of Rangers fans, myself included, would have taken them all day long anyway. But any other player they've brought in, I don't really think they've got pass marks, to be honest. Romans actually thinks went backwards. I watched him in West Ham in the opening game against Dundee United. He doesn't look the player he was at the tail end of last year. But there's players in there. I don't see the recruitment, to be honest with you two. And I feel for Derek McInnes, Paul. I don't know what the guys think, but I'm lost with it now.
I think, Paul, on the recruitment in terms of Cammy Devlin, Ross McCrory and Lawrence Shankland, that's definitely Derek McInnes' signs. That's not even went to a recruitment department. That's him coming into the club and saying, right, I want these three bodies in the door. So you take them. But like you say, when you start looking at the names that have come in over the years, it's a genuine point you've got, because there isn't a lot of success where Rangers have maybe moved a lot of those on for bigger money, or the Rangers have ended up finding themselves stuck with these guys on large wages, or trying to shuffle them out the door and what have you. I do think that some guys like Dan Neil, who me and Aiden's talked about, Ben Godfrey, the goalkeeper, the big boy that they've got from South Africa, from America, they're obviously going to need time to see if they're any good or they're going to fit what Rangers are needing. But beyond that, loan spells like Scove Olsen, it has been really, really poor.
Yeah. Would the Chermiti come under that?
See, I still think there's a player in there.
No, I'm saying as in pass marks with Chermiti.
He's
inconsistent. Fernandes, I would say. I'd say Fernandes, even though he's got the, as you've seen for the goal on Friday night, you can see the errors and the deficiencies in his game. But I think he is the one that could go for big money if he plays to the level that he's capable of. But
he's not as good as he thinks he is.
No, he's not as good as he thinks he is. But I was just saying, would they two come under that bracket of signs for this recruitment team?
I sometimes struggle with, like, say look at this might sound bonkers, right? Look at Sarachi, who came into Celtic, right? And Celtic chose not to get him. If I'm Rangers, I'm thinking, if Celtic don't want him, we'll take him. Like, how much is he costing? He's an improvement on Roms at left back for Rangers right now. I know he's played for Celtic. Forget that. You're wanting good players in the door, and that's the reality for me. But no, you're probably right. The recruitment has been very, very questionable.
But Paul, I think it's actually.
Can I say one other thing, Paul?
Sure.
If that's okay. Just on the Purdy situation and that, there's all an Everton connection as well. I mean, you go to Godfrey. I didn't really know Godfrey's background, but then I found out, surprise, he was linked. He was with Everton previously. I know. Probably in recruitment, you guys know more than I do, right? But there's kind of, you're relying friendships and all that kind of stuff. But it's all the time. I mean, coaches, recruitment people, everybody is linked to that Everton Football Club. I think they're becoming Everton Mark too. Honestly, I'm so frustrated by it.
That's lazy. That's lazy recruitment. That's what that is. That's not finding the best player for the best money for the best value.
Yeah.
That's an agent or someone at a club picking up a phone and saying, by the way, he's out of contract. You can get him. Would you fancy him? Aye, we fancy him.
And the caller, Paul, he pays his money. He lives for his family and his job, but Rangers is his number one thing, apart from that. And it's serious business. We talked about the bluffers last year that came in at Rangers and Celtic, and it was kind of disaster for both teams. Celtic got the double, don't know how. Yeah, it was called Martin O'Neill and a few of the players. But Rangers, you're absolutely right. It's fine bringing in Derek McInnes. Looks like a good choice, but he needs to get players around him that make Rangers better. And Paul, it sounds, for you to say it's almost over. I don't think that's what you
Paul,
want. Yeah,
Paul, it's so fine margins. I know it sounds crazy, but already we're 2 points behind Celtic.
Yeah.
And once we qualify for Europe, if we do, and Celtic qualify, it could, and if Celtic went to the Champions League, it's going to be, we'll be Thursday, Sunday. They'll be Tuesday or Wednesday and Saturday.
It's
So
harder again.
psychologically, we're always chasing, and we're always putting ourselves under pressure now. It sounds mental saying one game, but I actually do think, and some of my mates that go to games actually thought, this is over already.
See,
it sounds mental.
See, going back to the recruitment question you raised there, Paul. I think it's been historic bad recruitment though, because I know Celtic have got a very, very good model where they bring in players for smaller sums of money and make a big profit on them, sell them on. But I think I read a stat. This was a good few years ago now, but this was when Morelos and Kent were at the club. I mean, you let both of your biggest assets go for free. I think there was a turnover of like 77 players, and Rangers had made a profit on those 77 players of something like 3 million. Which is inexcusable.
Guys, just to say, we can't get players out the door. I think Kevin or yourself had mentioned it, but the guy, what's his name? It's just been out. What's his name?
Badiri?
The Albanian guy.
You know
who I'm talking about? Nadim Bashrami.
Bashrami,
he has gone.
See, to get those guys out, it's always with a loan to an option to buy. It's the same way. The other guy, the South American guy.
We get
the American guy.
There's all these people that come in at great expectations. You see nothing. I mean, Derek McInnes and actually Andrew Kavanagh must be saying, right, you need to get this right now.
But where's the accountability? Where's the accountability for who's making these signings and the recruitment team?
Well, he made the change early in the year when he fired the CEO and the director of football, whatever he was, the Kevin Thelwell. But I mean, his son's there, and Robbie may be absolutely brilliant. Dan Purdy maybe, but they'll need to be much better. I think that's the point.
Is there a problem there where the managers don't get long enough to actually have a say on who the recruitment teams are? Because every recruitment teams have always been there, and every manager keeps changing.
This time
but the
last
recruitment
year,
don't change.
yeah, but Rangers were saying this time last year, Russell Martin, he's in. He's got our backing and he's going to make a lot of changes. We'll give him time. And he was gone by October. Paul, final word, last minute.
But very last thing, I go back to the acid test and I think to myself as a fan,
right?
Would Walter Smith have taken that forward? What would Walter Smith have done? Walter Smith would have a day two out the door years ago. That's what he would have done.
Well, I mean, the recruitment people, we can't, these two haven't been in the job for that long, so that might be unfair. But I'll tell you what, they need to get it right. Of course,
if you're not performing well at Rangers or Celtic and you're on big wages, it's very hard to shift them.
Paul, thank you for the call. This 2 hours has come and gone. Cheers.
Cheers, Paul.
Thanks, you.
Paul. Cheers.
And Rangers will be in action. Are they going to do okay, do you think, Kevin?
I think they'll be fine on Thursday. Definitely.
Bialystok.
I think they'll be okay.
Okay. And this weekend, the big two play on Sunday, of course. Rangers have got Hibs at Ibrox. Celtic will be at Kilmarnock. A lot of football between now and then. Some great calls tonight. Thank you so much. Talking about Motherwell as well. Who can catch Motherwell up there at the top in St Mirren? And St Johnstone alongside Celtic. Okay, we're here tomorrow night. I think we're not on YouTube tomorrow night live on the telly, but we'll be on radio. So tomorrow night for one night only. And Peter Grant will be here tomorrow, along with Jamie Murphy, your former colleague there.
Murphy, a bit of media as well.
Yeah, that's tomorrow night. We'll be live at 5.